We're doing this at a Dutch angle. We could try doing
Probably
this.
fix that a little bit.
We tried doing this a second ago, but perfect.
There, that's better.
So
my dashboard is like this big, so the camera and the light just collided a moment ago.
So what'd you think of the first one?
As an adult, as a 30-something-year-old who goes to movies every week, who gets paid a very tiny amount of money to review said movies, the first one is not a good movie. I mean, it's okay. It's not a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun movie.
And we were the right age when it came out.
No,
we
yeah,
were the target demographic for. We were teenagers.
Well, I was 13. You were.
I was 15.
Yeah. No, there's a soft spot in my heart for that first Independence Day movie. And I watched it not too terribly long ago.
So did I, honestly.
Like I think I watched it less than a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the exact same movie that you remember, only like less technically competent. Like
there was a lot of things I think that really did hold up about the original. The disaster scene, the destruction, all that really held up.
Yeah.
I like that shit better than I like most modern disaster destruction sequences in movies nowadays.
Well, because the disaster destruction sequence in that one, it's perfect because it's simple. Mm-hmm. It's real simple. It
was also
alien ship, death ray.
Yeah, and
perfect.
That, and it was also real shit blowing up too.
Yeah,
they blew up real shit.
Well, they blew up real shit. Kind of blew up real shit in this one. They tried to pretend like they were. Also, this one they went too fucking big, man. They went too big and forgot about physics.
Well, okay, that's but okay, the first movie, look, there's two schools of people. There's people who think Independence Day is stupid and they hate it because it's stupid, and then there's people who think Independence Day is stupid but they still have a really good time. I have a really good time at Independence Day because Independence Day, of course, it's dumb. Of fucking course it is. But it's got charisma that carries it. It's got a good sense of humor. It has fun characters. It has quotable lines. And when it gets intense, it does get pretty intense.
Yeah.
And when it gets kind of heartfelt, like when the president's wife dies and shit like that, it can tug at your heartstrings a little bit. The movie did dumb well. Yes, it's totally a fast food film, of course, but
it's a good fast food film. It's a prime example of what a fast food film should be.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this isn't gonna win any Oscars, but fuck if it wasn't a good way to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, entertaining, fun summer movie that was never boring. And, just had solid casting, good enough action, and it worked.
Great
it worked
casting. The original one has, honestly, look back at it, that is a fantastic ensemble cast.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's the movie that, love him or hate him, it made Will Smith a huge movie star. And quite frankly, I think his hits outweigh his misses.
Totally.
There's definitely some misses in there, but...
Yeah.
But those aren't the movies we're gonna fucking remember.
Look, man, just because I like fast food doesn't mean I'm gonna eat a plate full of shit.
Yeah, this was...
And Independence Day Resurgence is a plate full of shit.
It's a trough. Trough full of shit.
Look, man, I'm not saying that because I'm 35 and not 15 anymore.
No, it's because it was a shitty movie. It was a shitty movie that, quite frankly, it even took the characters in the first one that you really cared about, and you don't care anymore. And it's not the passage of time. Mm-hmm. It's just they're so poorly fucking written.
The only characters in this movie that I did care about were a couple of the characters from the first movie, but there is one particular character in here, Weird Al Brent Spiner, who shows up every now and then in the film to just fart in front of the fucking camera. Not literally, he might as well. It shows his ass enough times.
Yeah, you know, and to me, the original one, Brett Spiner was one of the highlights because he was weird and zany and out there and fucking.
He also wasn't sprinkled in through the entire movie.
No, exactly, and this he is, and it's played for comedy relief, and it plays his like. Who knew he was gay? Apparently he's gay.
I guess. I don't know.
I got the impression from this one that the character's supposed to be gay and the guy was his boyfriend or whatever, which is great, and that's sweet and wonderful and good, positive gay relationship in a movie. Fantastic. But you know what? Don't use it for comic relief.
This movie did not. The first one more or less knew where to use its comedy. Yeah, there's goofy shit in the first movie between Randy Quaid's character.
But they were the right comedy notes.
No, you're right. I mean, and it was there when it needed to be there, and it wasn't there when it shouldn't have been. This movie's disaster sequence, its destruction sequence, one is like everything else in this movie where, boy, am I not invested in this. And I'm like, well, that happened. So you have this sequence in which a couple of cities are getting destroyed that we're looking at, and throughout this is like a joke about shitting your pants, and then even parts that are kind of supposed to be serious are unintentionally funny because of the shitty acting, like Will Smith's kid and Vivica Fox falling off the fucking building. Oh my god.
Why even put her in the fucking movie? Why? Because, okay. So, Vivica Fox is in the movie, which is great. Mm-hmm. Bring back another cast member, cool, I'm down. Put her in a horrible wig to try and age her. Okay, fine, keep going. Okay, she's working at a hospital somewhere on the East Coast. This giant thing comes over, everything's falling apart. She gets up to the roof, gets a baby and a woman who just gave birth to the baby onto a helicopter, and then she just falls.
That was amazing.
Just in slow motion falls. It is like distance, and really bad CGI.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh my god, dude. Does the disaster effects in the original movie just kick the ass of the ones in this? I don't know if you had the same problem I did. I couldn't tell what was going on half the time.
It was overly busy, and it was because they're trying to go big. And the idea is that this new spaceship that comes 20 years later, is roughly the size of the Atlantic Ocean, and it lands on Earth. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I leaned over to you and was like, shouldn't we... That's an extinction event, right?
Yes!
And look, I know the first one was stupid, but I shouldn't be thinking about... I should be entertained enough in this movie to not think about that shit in this.
And the big disaster event happens because this giant object lands on Earth and it has its own gravity, which at some point just shuts off. Mm-hmm. Which I guess makes... But it has its own gravity, even though it's that close to Earth, which I don't know how that... I'm not a physicist, but whatever. It has its own gravity, so it's just lifting things up in the air, and it's all crashing back down. And then it's just over the Atlantic Ocean. Now, this giant thing that has its own gravity, stronger gravity than the moon, doesn't seem to affect the tides at all.
Not at all, man.
No, because there's boats right under it, right at the center, on calm water. Calm water, by the way, as they drill a laser into the Earth's core. The movie has a countdown of 1 hour because they're going to drill to the Earth's core.
Dude, it's calm enough Judd Hirsch survives it in his tugboat.
Yes. I mean, we're talking... The tidal waves would be astronomical. I mean, without question. Mm-hmm. Once again, not a physicist, but I fucking know that. But... there's just this boat out there floating, and they're monitoring the digging to the Earth's core. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the movie, they're less than a minute to getting to the Earth's core in a mile-wide hole in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, even if they didn't reach the Earth's core, they're less than a minute away. And now that hole's gonna fill up with all this water.
Look, it makes sense to me now that you say it out loud. I don't know what problem I have with this movie.
That in itself is an extinction event. They didn't save the Earth. They just bought, like, 5 more minutes.
That's why in the next movie, we're taking it to them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. By the giant floating female head of Marvin the Robot from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's all that thing was. And it's amazing that they introduced this good species of aliens that we immediately shoot down on arrival because, well, that's who we are as a people.
Yeah, that's actually the most realistic thing in the movie.
It really is. So yeah, this good alien species comes to, try and pull a Noah's Ark, and we shoot it out of the fucking sky. And the whole thing amounts to they're digital beings. There's one digital being in a globe about the size of a small Hyundai that looks way too much like a Mac computer for me.
You know what? Like, speaking of technology, the War of the World of 1996, the events of the first Independence Day,
yes.
seems to be the greatest thing to ever happen to us as a species.
Okay, but there's exceptions to that.
There is, because look at how Washington, D.C. in this movie looks like the movie Minority Report.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the technological advances are insane, which they do explain. They say that we've used the alien technology to advance our own technology.
Which is great. And understandable. Except for some things that they couldn't be bothered to update with that technology. Like TV screens or computers.
Oh, at the end of the day, we're still gonna have Skype cutouts.
Yeah. Skype cutouts. Like, there's fucking, jets that fly to and from the fucking moon in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
But TV screens in this movie are that fucking thick. That thick.
We take what we can get, man. I did kind of like...
We're still using handheld radios. Somehow, I guess everybody learned their lesson from the first one and kept all their fucking short waves around.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. Everybody has space rifles. But all their handguns are just old-fashioned handguns.
I know, that was very...
It's a little weird.
That was very Starship Troopers, kind of. Sort of like, this looks like an advanced alien gun. Just shoot bullets out of it. Let's just blow these things up.
No, their handguns
Space Tommy
their
gun.
handguns were like just standard
In this movie, yeah.
45s.
In this movie, yeah. But it looked like it was supposed to be like Starship Troopers or something, like at the end where they're all waiting for the aliens to approach them and
those big
everything.
rifles they had, those were like plasma rifles.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know that.
But they all had like pistol sidearms.
That's what I mean. It's still... It's like the combination of technologies of Starship Troopers, in that, like, except in this one, it actually does shoot plasma rays out of it instead of just any old bullet. I did like the joke that the White House survives the movie.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. I did kind of laugh at that. Like, the thing with Vivica Fox is a problem that a lot of this movie has, in that really important, either important characters or characters like in her case who were important in the first movie, are killed off in this movie, and you're either thinking, it either takes you a minute to actually be like, oh, okay, they died, or it's more sort of like, well, that happened.
The Vivica Fox thing was definitely well, that happened. And then I thought about why they killed her off, and it was to give a character motivation. A character that, through the movie, I didn't give a flying fuck about.
Oh, boy, that's another big problem with this fucking movie. You can tell how this script was altered because Will Smith's not in it.
Yeah.
You can absolutely tell. And honestly, all you need to know about this movie is
Will Smith's not in it.
The first one's got Will Smith in it. In this one, he's replaced by Liam Hemsworth. That's all you need to know about this fucking movie. Yeah. He's replaced by a combination of Liam Hemsworth and another guy who is a million times worse than Liam Hemsworth, who's playing Will Smith's son. And goddamn, one, that guy was fucking awful.
Yeah.
And I didn't give a fuck about him. I didn't give a fuck about Liam Hemsworth. To be quite honest, Liam Hemsworth is slightly better in this than I've seen him in other movies, but you're constantly comparing him to Will Smith.
No, and
one of the most charismatic action leads of our time.
And his first, like, big iconic role, no less. And the thing is, yeah, Liam Hemsworth, arguably not terrible in this movie at all. And probably one of the more charismatic characters in the movie. But still, you don't care about him because they didn't... That was the strength of the first movie, I think. Even though it was a big disaster popcorn action flick, you gave a fuck about the characters.
Yeah.
You actually spent enough small moments with the characters.
Yeah.
And it gave them just enough characterization to give a rat's ass.
Yeah.
And this, you don't care.
No. It's like I gave a shit about Jeff Goldblum. I gave a shit about Judd Hirsch. But the people who
I didn't give a fuck about Judd Hirsch. I didn't think he should have been in the movie.
Well, I can't argue with you there.
He should. That character, that like in the first movie, the character didn't really serve a point. He was a comic relief character, but at least he was involved in the story. In this one, they just kept cutting back to him because Judd Hirsch is still alive.
Yeah, no, I honestly can't disagree with you there, but any of the laughs I got out of this movie was out of Jeff Goldblum and Judd Hirsch's back and forths with each other.
Oh, yeah.
So in that regard, it's fine, he's there, I guess. So I did give a fuck about them to a certain extent, but Liam Hemsworth and not Will Smith are in this movie way more than Jeff Goldblum and any of the other characters I give a fuck about.
Like, and they give them the big heroic moment, but the thing is, there was even, like, the tension they tried to give to, like, bring them up to be the heroes.
But it's such a busy film because when an important character died in the first one, it was a big moment in the movie. Either a kind of loud, intentionally humorous one like the Randy Quaid one, or the much more quieter one with Bill Pullman's wife. Right. In this...
They had resonance, though.
Yeah, they did. In this... I'm sorry, spoiler. When Bill Pullman dies in this movie, it's such a busy action sequence that you don't...
There's no time for it to register.
Not at all. It happened
and you're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And it's a disservice to... Because, quite frankly, Bill Pullman doesn't work enough.
Yeah.
And Bill Pullman's a great fucking actor.
And he is one of the characters I gave a shit about in this movie.
Bill Pullman, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated fucking actors in the world.
Yeah.
The man has made some very questionable movies, but I have never not seen Bill Pullman in a scene of anything and not been entertained by Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman is he does comedy really well, like fucking The Zero Effect. Come on.
Ruthless People.
But he also does like that big dramatic... He's one of those few guys that like can just start speechifying in a movie that I'm just like, all right, Bill Pullman, tell me what's up.
Yeah.
Hey, he got a speech in this one.
He gets a speech in this movie.
And it was moving. It was just the beginning of the second act and had really no effect.
Yeah, it was there because he had a big speech in the first movie. That's why it's there.
And it was kind of like...
Yeah. And I liked seeing crazy President Bill Pullman in this movie with the beard.
Post-traumatic stress disorder out the fucking wazoo.
Yeah, I like, there's not enough of that in this movie, but I liked that. I like a lot of the ideas of this movie. I like the idea of seeing, like, it's 20 years later after a disaster movie.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. That's one of the few nice things I'll say about it, but that's just the idea of the movie, not the actual movie itself. And when Bill Pullman dies in the movie, whatever, it's the same with when Celia Ward dies. She plays the president, she dies off screen. I didn't realize she was dead until they were swearing in Fichtner.
Yeah, Fichtner becomes president. I'm still baffled by it, and I'm President Fichtner, fine. This was also the dullest William Fichtner part in recent memory.
But he was He was selling it though.
Well, he's
because it's
fucking
Fichtner. It's a role that could have been played by anybody.
No, anyone. But at least it was Fichtner.
Yeah, exactly.
I love William Fichtner.
I hope when they do the third one, which I mean, this movie sequel baited it.
It did, but let's see how much money it fucking makes.
Yeah.
Because I bet you money because in 1996, Independence Day was the highest grossing movie of the year by a lot.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this movie stands a chance in hell. I think it's going to have a good opening weekend. Might do okay for a week or two, but it's going to drop real fucking quick.
It was not packed in there when we saw it. And we saw it on an 8 p.m. show.
Well, and part of that, too, is that the target audience for it now are the people that are as old as we were when the first one came out. Mm-hmm. And the movie's about 15 years too late.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of disaster movies between now and then. Yeah. We've seen a lot of disaster movies that Independence Day did better than a lot of the recent ones. Another reason why the destruction in this movie doesn't pack as much of a punch, one, it's because of the writing. Like, that destruction sequence in the first movie, that was intense. That was really intense. That was the focus of that sequence. In this, it's just a thing that happens. It's not recalled much as the movie goes on. It's just, well, London's destroyed. Well, Tokyo is, or wherever it was they were. Well, that stuff's destroyed. There's a lot of jokes sprinkled in throughout it. And yeah, I know the first one had, like, Harvey Fierstein going, crap. But by and large, that was a pretty intense sequence.
Yeah.
This, again, it's just a 5-minute thing that happens in a movie with special effects that, one, I was having trouble figuring out what was going on half the time, and two, looks no different than, like, 2012, San Andreas, most other disaster movies you see nowadays.
Yeah, no, there was nothing... There's nothing to rope you into this one, and that was its major failing. I mean, it has a lot of failings, but its major failing is it didn't pull you in like the first one did. It doesn't make you care.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you... There's no tension because, fuck, we beat him once, we're gonna beat him again. You know?
I honestly gave such little fucks in this movie that I kind of wanted the aliens to win.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just did. Like, what do I give a shit about Liam Hemsworth and Will Smith Jr., who sucks? I like, god damn it, that fucking poster they had of Will Smith on the White House wall. It was a publicity shot from the first movie.
Yeah, and like they just ran it through the quickest Photoshop filter they could get to make it kind of look like a painting.
Yeah. Oh, I did, like, granted, this turns out to be a dream sequence at the beginning of the movie, but I liked that the movie opened with an alien watching Independence Day, because he's watching Bill Pullman's speech, and it's just footage from the first movie.
In a close-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
God damn it, this movie.
There's more. The fact that it turns into a monster, like a giant monster movie at the end.
Yeah, that was something. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Roland Emmerich's like, fuck, I'm gonna try Godzilla again. It didn't work when I tried to rip off Jurassic Park. So fucking...
I liked Godzilla I like 98 Godzilla way better than I like this movie.
Well, 98 Godzilla is terrible. Easily the worst Godzilla movie. But
I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. I would so rather watch 98 Godzilla than Godzilla's Revenge. At least this movie didn't have, like, fucking... At least 98 Godzilla didn't have Son of Godzilla showing up going, well, here's what I think.
Even those have a charm in a bad movie kind of way.
I thought 98 Godzilla kind of did. Like, at least I gave way more of a fuck in that movie than I did in this.
Oh, yeah. I don't disagree. Because you had actors that you gave a fuck about.
Hank Azaria was fun in that movie. And Matthew Broderick.
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno, yeah, that movie was way more focused than this movie was. I don't hate that movie as much as a lot of other people do.
I look back on it very fondly now, but as a piece of my youth, not because I
98 Godzilla? I mean, I don't know how much I'd consider that movie a piece of my youth. I mean, it was a movie I went to go see, and I didn't think it was that bad.
My nephew Addison, when he was little, he was just fucking obsessed with Godzilla.
Yeah.
So this kid was amazing. 4 or 5, you'd put him in front of the TV with a Godzilla movie on and his toys, and he would act out the movie line for line while it was happening.
Yeah.
Not watching the TV. He knew them all by heart. So we watched 98 Godzilla a lot when he was little, and because the Japanese movies incorporated that Godzilla in as a different character.
Oh, Zilla? Yeah. And I never had a problem, really, and I grew up with the Godzilla movies too. With 98, I really never had a problem separating myself from being like, okay, this is just kind of just another monster movie. They're just calling it Godzilla. And especially with how in Godzilla Final Wars, they bring that monster in as Zilla. It's like, okay, well, so it's another monster. It's called Zilla. All right, that settles it. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's how I look at it now, but, I remember at the time going, this fucking sucks.
I remember at the time going, oh man, they're slipping on gumballs. This movie's great.
Oh.
Granted, I'm sure I was high as fuck when I saw it in the theater.
Let's see, 98, that would have been...
I was 17 when that came out.
I would have been 15 or 16. Yeah, that's... If I was 16, that's probably high as fuck. But, my drug of choice at that time didn't do much to make me giggle at things.
Right.
Now, 17 or 18, fuck yeah, I would have loved it.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. I would not have... I'm sorry, I wouldn't have liked this movie if I saw it when I was a teenager.
No, this was fucking boring, man.
I was bored. I was so checked out. I was so checked out through most of this.
You could blow up everything on the screen, but it was fucking boring.
You gotta make me give a shit, man. You gotta make me give a shit about stuff blowing up. I'm sorry,
It could have, just cut down on the fucking characters that we're supposed to care about by about 18 people, and maybe...
Yeah, have it be just about Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, and
create an all new character that has to fight in the space.
Yeah,
leave the Hemsworth character in. Fine, get rid of everything else surrounding him. Except, I will say the girl that
she was good.
Apparently at some point there was some controversy that character was recast because the girl who played her in the original is still acting.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because she's the president's daughter.
She's the girl from the original is the girl that was the lead in The Duff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Apparently a bunch of people were pissed off saying that she didn't get the role because she was not pretty enough or something like that. But whatever, they cast the girl from It Follows in the role, and she was
really good.
Actually, yeah, as far as acting in the movie, besides Goldblum, she was probably the best actor in the movie besides Goldblum and Pullman.
Yeah, honestly, get rid of Smith Jr. and Liam Hemsworth and just have it be her.
Yeah, she was a fucking pilot in it, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I would have gave way more of a rat's ass.
Let fucking Hemsworth be the dude at home waiting for his girl. Fucking hell.
Look, I mean, this movie is getting not much worse reviews than the first movie did. I mean, it's sitting around in the 50s on Rotten Tomatoes. The first one's at a 60.
I don't think it deserves anywhere in the 50s.
No, personally, I don't either, but maybe I
flipped through the reviews, and most of the reviews, it pretty much sums up as, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, I get it. There's plenty of movies that I'm like that with. You know, there's a lot of stupid shit where I'm like, fuck it. At the end of the day, it was entertaining. I'm not like that with this movie. And maybe since, like, this already seems kind of polarizing a little bit, I mean, maybe there's plenty of people out there who will have a lot of fun at this movie. There's certainly a lot of action that's going on in it. Me, personally, just didn't give a fuck. Like, I wouldn't recommend seeing it in the theater.
I couldn't bring myself to care.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend seeing this in the theater.
Before we do start wrapping it up, though, there's one thing I do want to bring up. The fact that they fucking dug up Robert Loggia and sat him on a fucking stage dressed as a fucking general.
Oh my god. Yeah, we were both like sitting there because Robert Loggia has a cameo in
this old man sitting on the stage at their 4th of July celebration event. And it's just...
I was like, did they dig up Robert Loggia and just put him in front of the camera?
Is that Robert Loggia? Like, is that Dean Cain?
Yeah. From the wonderful stories Ryan's told me about Dean Devlin, maybe that's true.
Just dug him up. Fucking, it looked like they had him on a stick, and they were just moving him with the stick.
He looked like Bob Gunton in Dead Silence. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, movie. Jesus Christ.
Like, he looked like Harry Dean Stanton in anything you put Harry Dean Stanton in anymore.
Anymore, yeah.
Just like, yeah, I'm here. Sign the check. Give me a whiskey.
Did Loggia even have any lines?
No.
I don't think he did.
Not a single fucking line, because he probably couldn't read them. Because that man's ancient.
He passed away, what was it, a month or two ago?
Yeah. Just the only thing that would have made that little cameo better is if he was holding a glass of fucking orange juice.
Yeah. Billy, I drink orange juice.
My favorite commercial of all time.
Mine too.
Robert Loggia. What the fuck, kid? Why do you know who Robert Loggia is?
That kid's awesome. He's a huge, big fan. And Scarface. I like that in that scene there's like this memorial in Washington where it's got all of the names of the people who passed away in bricks that are on this like a
giant fucking pillar.
Yeah, it's like look,
you can't read them unless you're on a scaffold and you have binoculars.
I know. I'm sitting there like, yeah, look, kid, you're just gonna have to trust us. Your dad's name's up there, like at the very top.
Fucking hell. Like, hard enough to find like a family member name on like the Vietnam Memorial, but fuck, try find someone on that thing.
Like, at least make it horizontal, man.
Yeah.
Like,
you've got all this new technology. Make it a fucking screen.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Just one statue, Yeah,
just one statue of Randy Quaid.
In a fucking biplane.
Yeah. Hello, boys. I'm back.
Why did they go back to his fucking kids?
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
That would have been much more interesting to me.
Yeah. What happened to his family? Whatever. I know that one. I know his son still acts. James. I can't remember. I can't remember his last name.
Well, yeah.
The dude who looked like Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
The guy from the Doom generation. Now, you know what? Wait for it to go on Netflix or video or something.
I don't even think it's worth it. I'm
not saying you're gonna like it. I just
don't definitely give money to see it. I mean,
yeah, you just kind of wait for Netflix because if you like the first one a lot, you'll want to see this out of curiosity. If you don't like the first one, why in the fuck are you going to?
Yeah.
You know you're not gonna like it. You know you're just gonna bitch about it.
Well, sometimes we go to movies just because we know we're gonna bitch about it, but we do.
But we do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
do it for this.
I wouldn't be at Chipmunks 4 if it wasn't for the website.
You sure about that?
The positive. I didn't see the other 3 movies. There was some guy online earlier who was there was an article that was being written about the macaroni and cheese stuffed Cheetos.
Oh, yeah.
That Burger King's doing, and there was some article about it, and all of those articles are always written by some kind of food snob. We're like, can you believe this horror? And I just made that, and some guy wrote back to me and was like, it is horrible. I can't believe they would do that. And I responded and was like, if you don't think it looks good, don't eat it, man.
Yeah.
And he writes back, isn't that what you do? Like, I get paid for it, bro. It's my fucking job.
Yeah, and
It's not the same, man.
and shit like that's not gonna be on the fucking menu forever. They're trying some shit out. Let them fucking try it out. Yeah, of course it's not gonna be good. We all know it's not gonna be fucking good.
I think it'll be delicious.
I think it'll be garbage, but you know what? I will try it once. Because you know me. There's macaroni and cheese on the menu.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking try it.
Exactly. If there's a fucking cartoon that they're selling at a fast food joint like that, I'm definitely gonna eat that shit because I love fast food.
Yeah.
Between the two movies I've watched this week that have Independence Day in it, I don't know if I told you about that. I did a fan poll.
Oh, yeah, the poll thing. You did tell me about that.
Yeah, I did a fan poll between porno spoof, sci-fi original movie called Independence Day Disaster, and the one that won is the 1983 romantic melodrama that just happens to be called Independence Day, and it was depressing as shit.
That one won.
At first I was like, how in the fuck is this ahead? And then I was noticing a common theme in the comments where people were under the impression it was going to be something along the lines of Moment by Moment or Endless Love. No, it's just a melody. It's half small town girl with big city dreams and half spousal abuse. Oh yeah, there's a subplot in this movie where Diane Wiest is getting the shit beat out of her by her husband, who's Cliff DeYoung from Shock Treatment. The rest of the movie is Kathleen Quinlan's a photographer who wants to move to California to study photography, except she starts going out with the stock car racer who's David Keith.
Well, the cast sounds amazing.
It's very good. Diane Wiest is fucking phenomenal in this movie.
Diane Wiest is always phenomenal.
She's the best part of this movie.
Diane fucking Wiest, man.
She's easily the best part of this movie. The movie was like, it's just forgettable early 80s melodrama. Honestly, it seems like the kind of thing that was probably made off of the heels of like Officer and a Gentleman or Urban Cowboy. Like, it kind of seemed like that.
After Love Story did so well, a lot of movies like that came out around the era.
Especially this, it's
and then they
southern,
started playing with the genres and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got similar. I mean, it's got David Keith in there, which reminds you of Officer and a Gentleman, especially around that time. But also like the southern cowboy kind of thing, like Urban Cowboy. Like, it's so weird that this movie did not have Wingshauser, Sandra Locke, or Deborah Winger in it. That's very bizarre. Anyway, that one. I got nothing else to say about Independence Day Resurgence.
I ain't got shit, dude.
All right, so next week is, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna go see.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see the Neon Demon. I got to see The Shallows too at some point.
I don't know why I'm curious about that movie, but I it's because it's a shark movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good.
Let's see. Next week is what, July 1st week?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, man, we got a big week.
Do we?
Yeah, Legend of Tarzan, The Purge,
Nice.
election year, and I know it's the least of the things we'd probably want to see, but the BFG is probably going to be the big kids movie of the year. It's Spielberg.
Yeah, I think that's
a 3, maybe 4 movie week for us next week.
That'll be one of those situations where, like, okay, Thursday night will probably be Tarzan and Purge election year, and then at some point the BFG. So, yeah, those movies will get watched. See ya.